Hi friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Amber and welcome, welcome, welcome. In today's video, I'm giving you practical tips on how you can thrive as a Christian content creator and YouTuber this year. I have recently experienced so much growth on my YouTube channel, and there are some things I've learned that I want to pass along to you. I'm going to do my very best to keep this video short and concise because I have a lot of things to say and I'm very thorough, but I'm going to try to be very sensitive to your time. So go ahead and grab you a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen because I have a lot of helpful tips that I'm going to share. First things first, pray about your niche. Because we are Christian content creators, we don't necessarily create content where we lead with self, but rather with God. God has created each and every one of us differently. Some of us are gifted in different ways from others, and we are all not designed to reach the same people. Just because we are Christians doesn't mean we all need to make faith-based content. And I want to say that because I think there are people out there who really think this way, and what you're trying to do is force yourself to talk about something that you really don't feel confident talking about, or you really aren't deeply passionate about, but then you feel guilty because you're like, well, I love Jesus, so that's what I should want to lead with is faith. But all of us are different. And I know that sounds really funny to say, but I really believe it's true. If God created us as missional people to operate in different spaces and industries, then when it comes to content creation, there really is no difference. If you are a Christian, but you know a lot about business and entrepreneurship and you love it, you probably should lean into that. If you're a Christian, but you love to cook and you're passionate about culinary and food, then you need to really consider leaning into that. Or maybe you are a Christian and you know a lot about fashion and how to make people look good. You are definitely needed. So make sure that you take the time to pray and ask the Holy Spirit to show you where you belong. And that's also essential because your passion is really what's going to give you longevity in this field. So make sure you lean into your passion because that's going to keep you from becoming burnt out, having resentment, or becoming bitter. In addition to that, some of you will have a niche, okay? Some of you will have a certain area or areas that you want to focus in on, but some of you are going to lead with your personality. Some of us, I consider myself to be in this category, we just love life and we are just all about different things, okay? We know a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's hard to put us into a category. It's hard to put us into a box. That's another reason why we have to really just consult with the Holy Spirit. And I'm just saying that because for those of you who are like me, you will try to make yourself fit into a box and you're going to become frustrated. So make sure that you also pay attention to that about yourself and just figure that out as you start creating content or before you begin creating content. If you think that you are more niche-based as a creator, I want you to go ahead and comment below and tell me what is your niche or your niches. Or if you believe that you are more like me and you're supposed to operate more as a personality, a type of content creator, I just want you to simply give this video a thumbs up because I want to see just how many of you can really resonate with me. Moving on, gather your equipment. And by equipment, I mean your phone and your computer. Some of you think that you need a whole studio to be successful as a creator or YouTuber, and that is not true. I have a DSLR camera, I have lighting, I have a professional microphone, I have different things like that. And right now, I am filming this video on my iPhone that's placed on my gimbal, and it has a little small mic attached to it that came out of a vlogging kit. You would not know that. You don't need everything to be perfect in order to start. Work with what you have. When I first got started, I did not even have a computer. I was borrowing my mother-in-law's laptop and it finally gave out because I ran out of memory and storage and my editing software kept crashing. So I did what we should do. I went and I prayed and I asked God to provide me with the computer, and He was faithful to do that. If you have not seen my Daniel Fast testimony video yet, I'll have it linked below. There's just so many things that God did in my life last year, and I really wanted to share about those things. But one of those things in particular is I got a new computer. What I did not do is make an excuse for myself to abort mission because I didn't have a computer. Instead, I worked with what I had and I prayed that God would provide everything else. Ultimately, He called me to do this, so surely He would provide. As far as editing software goes, I actually use DaVinci Resolve. I use their free version, which they have two. They do have one that's free, obviously, and then they have one that's $300. I use the free version. I don't really have a lot of fancy stuff going on in my videos, and so it works just fine. I do have Final Cut Pro. That one you actually have to pay for, but I have not tapped into it, sadly, because I'm still learning how to use it. Or actually, I should be learning how to use it. But I just say that because some of you are like, well, I don't know how to edit, so can't have that excuse anymore. The next thing that we need to do is plan our content. We have to know what we're going to talk about and when it's going to go live. Consistency is key, and I know everybody says this, but it's true. We need to be consistent as content creators and YouTubers. People expect us to show up. They don't expect us to be spotty. They don't expect us to bounce around. If we want to take this seriously, we have got to show up. And we cannot lead with our feelings, okay? You might not feel like filming. You might not feel like editing, but you have to push through. I have not gotten this down to a science, but what I have done is I have showed up and said, Amber, you're posting this many videos a week, so make it happen. And it's got to go out on such and such days. Make it happen. You've got to start getting mean with yourself. That's what I've had to do. It's like, okay, Amber, there's an expectation. You need to do what you say you're going to do. You need to be reliable, not just in real life with people who know you, but also for that community that's interested in getting to know you. It's important to have a day or days throughout the week that are delegated toward your research, outlining your scripts, filming, editing, developing your thumbnail, SEO. You have to make sure that you are touching all your bases. You're hitting all of your bases. People can tell when you just stepped in and was like, all right, let's wing it. And they can also tell when you have put time into your videos. Another reason why this is important is because there's going to be different trends and different things happening throughout the year that you might want to take part in. For example, I live in New Orleans and we have different things happening throughout the year, right? All kinds of things. Mardi Gras is next month, and then Essence Fest is in June. And then we have other things going on in between. But these two times of the year bring in a lot of traffic to the city. And you best believe that there are people online on YouTube who are searching, where are some nice places to stay in New Orleans? Where are some nice places to eat? And so I think it would be really fun to create content about these things. I live in a touristy city, so I should be kind of taking advantage of some of those things. And no, I don't have to make my whole channel cater to that. But I do vlogs pretty regularly, and I like to do videos that are just for fun. That's actually something I want to do more of next year. So that's just an example. Another example is Vlogmas. I know a lot of Christians think Christmas is the devil, but for those of you who don't, you might want to do Vlogmas. And Vlogmas is where you post a vlog every day in December until Christmas Day. So it's something that is just fun. Your vlogs can be 5 minutes long, but it's just something about dedicating yourself to posting 25 vlogs in a single month. People go crazy about that. So as long as you're planning and staying ahead, you can make these things possible. If my voice is giving out, I'm so sorry. I'm recording this video for a second time because the first one was way too long, and I feel like my voice is just getting really like disgusting sounding, so I do apologize. The next thing I'm going to say, a lot of you might not like, but it has to be said. As a content creator, you have to learn to put your audience first. You have to create content that actually adds value to the people watching it. I don't want to be rude when I say this, but I've had people reach out to me on Instagram or who have emailed me and they're like, hey, my channel is not growing and I've been doing this for a long time. Can you look into why my channel is not growing? And I'll click on their page, not all the time, sometimes, depending on where I'm at, what's going on. I'll click on their page and I don't even watch the videos because I can already see what the problem is. I can already see. I already got it. I don't want to sound insensitive, but I'm going to tell you the truth. For some of you, I get on your page, I look at your content, and all I see are vlogs. Or I see something about your marriage life. I'm really not trying to drag you through the mud or your content, but I need y'all to pay attention to something. And this is what every creator has to do. You have got to look at your videos, look at the thumbnails, and say, would I watch this? Some of y'all are like, yeah, no. Ask yourself, would a complete stranger watch this? These are things I've had to do with myself. If you don't have the word you or your in the title, if you don't have words like tips or advice, people are going to scroll right on by. Let's be honest, people are selfish. They want to see content that's going to give them something. If they're going to give their time to watch your video, you best believe that they want something back in return. So, some of you are not growing the way that you want to because you're trying to show off yourself or your life through a vlog and people do not know who you are. You can vlog and still do great on YouTube. I'm not trying to knock you and say that you cannot. But understand, if you are new on YouTube and you choose that route, just know it's going to take longer. You have to see yourself as that new kid in school. It's like, I'm new here and I want to make friends. How do you make friends? By showing yourself friendly. You've got to come out and give people something. Now, don't be out here giving them stuff you don't know about or that you stole. Do not do that. But come out here, be yourself, and say, hey, here's something I want to give you. And also keep in mind that if you try to reach everybody, you reach no one. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind too. And by the way, people who you see post one vlog on YouTube and they get thousands of followers and crazy views, it's because chances are they came from another platform like TikTok or Instagram where they already built an audience and they're just driving traffic from that platform to another. So once again, I'm not saying it can't happen. I just think if you're going to choose that route, just be prepared that it might take a little longer. And something else you need to do by putting your audience first is looking at those analytics. If you go into YouTube Studio, click analytics and then click research, it's going to show you what your subscribers are looking for. It's going to tell you the content that they're typing in and searching on YouTube. And so you keep up with your audience and adding value to them by looking at that. I am obsessed with that little research tab. I'm always on there, always looking. And I made the mistake, I'm gonna be transparent. I made the mistake of seeing certain topics and being like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that video. I don't care. Amber, it's not even about you, girl. Really? You have to create that content if you want to grow, if you want to thrive. Something else you can do is ask your audience. You can ask them, hey, what kind of video should I do next? What do y'all want to hear me talk about? And that's good when you feel like you've hit a slump too. Going back to that research tab, I also think it's important not to allow that to rule you. I personally will be posting, I cannot talk today or any day. I'm going to be posting 3 videos a week this year. And that sounds like a lot, but I'm going to tell you why. Number 1, I'm going to have videos that cater to my community. I'm going to do videos about what they want to talk about, what they want to hear about. Number 2, I'm going to be posting videos that are random, that I want to talk about just because I want to. I'm a very random person, so I have to stay true to my random self. And something else I do along with that is I go into the research tab and I just see what are people searching for in general on YouTube. And anything I want to talk about, like I'm going to do a video about my wedding and I'm going to call it like my $5,000 luxury wedding. And that's because I want to talk to people about how I had a beautiful wedding, but I got the look for less. I want to talk about that. And my subscribers and my community might not care. According to my analytics, they do want to hear about it, so it works out well for both of us. And then lastly, I'm going to be posting vlogs because this is how I stay true to myself. I know my vlogs do not perform as great as my other content on my channel. I know that. But I post my vlogs because I enjoy the art of visual storytelling. And I'm determined to get better. Right now, my vlogging game is weak, okay? But I enjoy editing vlogs. I like creating them too. I want people to see a holistic view of Amber. I want people to know who I am, what I do, what my life is like, you know? So for me, it's fun. So I'm able to have a balance. What is this? I'm able to have a balance and I'm able to, yes, feed my audience and add value, but I'm also able to remain true to Amber. I think I've said enough about that. Let's move on. If you really want to crush it, you're going to have to study the platform. When I get asked that question of how are you growing and what are you doing, my first thing is I tell people, well, obviously it's God, but also I'm putting hours each week into studying YouTube. I take off 2 days a week and give myself a mental break, but I'm constantly studying YouTube. Algorithms change, things change. If I'm putting in 12 hours a week just to edit video, that's not even the preparation or the filming time, SEO, none of that. Just the editing. You best believe I'm gonna watch my voice. You best believe, what was that? Goodness. But you best believe that I'm going to figure out the algorithm and stay on top of it. What good is it to put that much time and effort into a video, post it, and it just flops? And that goes back to that research. Not only do you have to study the algorithms, but you have to study those analytics. I know it's uncomfortable to see your audience retention rate might be 1 minute and 5 seconds, which by the way, that means that people only watch your video for 1 minute and 5 seconds and then they click out and go watch somebody else. It's not comfortable to see that your impressions click-through rate is like super non-existent. By the way, that indicates how many people see your thumbnail and want to watch your video. So what you have to do is you have to study those numbers, and if they're really low, like if they're off, then you have to look at that and say, okay, my retention rate is 1 minute and 5 seconds. So what did I do before that point or right at that timestamp for people to just not want to watch anymore? A lot of it might have to do with your intro. Is your intro too long? Which, by the way, if you're starting a YouTube channel, you don't need a whole opener, okay? If you want that, okay, but it's really not necessary. Are you taking too long to get to the point? What's happening? How are you losing people's attention? I'll be honest, y'all, my thumbnails were absolutely terrible. More water. Y'all, my thumbnails have not always been my strongest point. When I took the time to just look at my analytics, I said, Amber, you need to become 1% better each video you put out. I had to slow down and say, okay, these thumbnails, they have to be better. What good is it to put all that time into a video and people don't want to watch it because the thumbnail is terrible? Your thumbnail is one of your marketing tools. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is to rest. If you want to become a full-time content creator and or YouTuber, you're going to spend a lot of hours each week in front of screens. And your mind, your brain need rest. It's important to unplug. It's important to refuel. And as Christians, we're taught to hold to the Sabbath day. That is so essential. I do not think I would have come this far as a YouTuber without having a Sabbath. And obviously that is one of the 10 commandments to do, that we should take a day and rest. But I came to a place in my life where I realized I was looking at that more as an option, but I decided to really look at it like the command that it is and just embrace it and apply it. And it's helped me out so much. Plus, it feels good to just have a day where you don't feel guilty about not doing anything. And remember, as a Christian content creator or influencer, God has given you influence with people. So make sure that you are being poured into by God so that you can effectively pour into others. If you are still watching this video, you are dedicated, my friend. You are serious about doing everything you can to excel as a content creator. I want you to comment the word motivated below in the comment section, because you, my friend, are motivated. And the last thing I want to say is going to sound very cliche, but it's super true. Do not compare yourself to other people. Do not compare yourself to others. Be okay with where you are. Be okay with where you stand. And be okay with being new at this and trying to figure it out. We all have to start somewhere. Every person that you look at and you admire, that's because they had to start, and they did not just have this instant success. I know sometimes we look at social media and we see people go viral and we see different things, but let me tell y'all something. This is not easy, and this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So you don't have to rush, and you don't have to go out here trying to prove yourself to people. Mindset has a lot to do with being in this world of content creation and YouTube. You have to really nurture your mindset. And so you have to stay in your own lane. And even when the people come, even when those numbers grow and things like that, you have to stick to your why and you have to embrace it. And something else you have to do is you have to be consistent. You have to push through those feelings. You might not feel like it, but you have to do it anyway. I remember crying real tears, y'all. I remember getting so discouraged so many times when I was creating videos and not seeing what I wanted to see. I would post a video and I remember getting 5 views and being excited because 3 other people watched my video. The first view was me and the second one was my husband. It felt good at another point to see people giving my video a thumbs up. I would celebrate those small things because it's in those small things where you really learn the most. And I would just get so excited because I was so grateful. I remember those days I would cry because I'm like, Lord, I feel like I'm just talking to myself. Like, this just seems so unattainable. I remember clicking on the monetization tab to see how far I needed to go. And I remember when it said, 200 subscribers, 800 more to go. And I would just shake my head and hold my head like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to reach this. I remember only having 1,000 watch hours and needing 3,000 more watch hours. Like, I remember being halfway to that, and it felt so discouraging at the time. And so to see where I am now, I'm so grateful, and I'm just glad that I never gave up. Another piece of advice I have is just to focus on becoming better. If you focus on becoming better, the people will come. I promise. Focus on improvement and the people will come. At the end of the day, We do what we do for God. It's not about us. We will fall into our flesh and try to make things about us, but we know it's not about us. And this is such a special thing to do, to be used by God to do something I love that glorifies Him and makes a difference in the lives of others. I mean, this is amazing. And I believe if you do everything that I have mentioned in this video, I think it's really going to propel you. I think it's really going to help you. And I hope that on those days where you feel not encouraged, those days where you feel discouraged, you come back and you watch this video or look at those notes and say, I've got this. If you enjoyed today's video, I have a couple of other videos that you might enjoy as well. In one of them, I talk about how to become a Christian influencer and really getting into what influencing actually means, especially as a Christian. And then I have another video you can check out about some different habits I have this year to become even better as a content creator. If there was something I said in today's video that really spoke to you, I mean, you thought it was so profound and you're like, okay, I'm taking this in, I want you to comment that below. Also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every week. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.